Cheers.
To an unexpected day, but a good day nonetheless. This will be episode 2 of Sundowners with Jen and Brian.
The dangers.
So far it seems like a nice way to not have some scripted, we're going to do our best to just have an off-the-cuff discussion.
Well, we realize that when we're planning our next route or we're talking about the tides or the moon, it's good stuff. It's stuff that 6 months ago we didn't even know people sat around and talked about. And now we're talking about it in order to prepare ourselves for our voyage.
And the few times that we recorded it just for ourselves, and then we go back and look at it, it was fun. Even nobody ever watches, then we get to go back and remember a point in time of where we're at, right? Brief backstory. We planned on sailing all day today. We motor sailed about 12 hours yesterday, and today we plan on doing about the same, but we pulled into this beautiful bay to get fuel, and as luck would have it, we ended up the one day a month that the fuel barge came in, and so we got delayed about 6 hours. Meant no sailing today. But that gave us a nice reason to kind of sit around and discuss weather. Here we are, discussing weather.
Well, and it's a good reminder. You have a loose plan, but
That plan never happened.
based on what external factors occur, readjust your plan.
Doing a lot of readjusting these days.
What came of it? We had some great conversation. We took Karma to the beach. That
Snorkeled.
was always joyful. We
With amazing
snorkeled,
visibility.
And now we're relaxing. We would maybe just be anchoring right now.
And we'd be exhausted. We wouldn't be doing this for sure.
No, we wouldn't be doing it.
As captain, you're kind of the lead on things weather. Let's talk briefly about, we've now moved into what seems to be the difficult part of Caribbean sailing, but ordinarily we're still always watching weather. What would we normally be looking for?
Well, being new sailors, to me, it was all about what are the biggest risks for rookies? And the one thing that really came up for me was being out in the elements that are above and beyond your skill level.
Especially when you have no skill level.
Well, we have this little tiny skill level, but we don't have
We're working on it.
I wanted to be able to not put us in situations that were out of our ability to manage. So looking at weather, wind direction, storms that are coming in from where, waves.
So on a normal daily basis, wind's our driving force. Not only does it make the boat go, but it's also the thing that we're often trying to protect ourselves from. Trying to harness it when we want it, and trying to tuck away from it when we don't want it. Especially at our very basic skill level, this narrow margin of enough but not too much. As we learned yesterday, direction is huge in terms of how fast we can make ground. You know, when if we're sailing with the wind and the wind's behind us, even if it's only a couple of degrees, you know, we were calculating maybe 6 to 8 knots of speed when we're underway. And then we calculate how far we can go based upon that. But now that we're sailing into the wind, whole different ballgame. We don't make anywhere near the same type of wave. And so we spent all day today trying to reach out the course on how are we going to get there with not perfect weather windows and not burning a ton of fuel. This is the last option for fuel in the Bahamas. So we either stop at Tuks&Caicos or there's nothing again until we get to the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico. And we're talking about a week of sailing, maybe minimum 4 or 5 days of sailing, and there's just no fuel options at all. And at this point, we're also beating into the wind and into the waves. And so we're going to burn a lot of fuel.
You have to pause for a second.
Oh, we got some things going on. We'll take a break for station identification
Back on.
and to turn off the VHF.
Okay.
We talked today about using a blow that's pending that is exactly the same type of blow that
3 months ago, we would have ran to a marina. 2 months ago, we would buy anchorage with protection from the direction of that wind.
this time we're at let's use that wind.
Even though it's a little bit stronger than what we're super comfortable with right now, it could take us where we want to go.
Because it's blowing in the right direction. So as a precursor, for anyone who doesn't know, because we didn't know, the trouble with the Caribbean, while the Caribbean's such a beautiful place to learn to sail, but the problem is moving past the Bahamas, and the whole reason that Georgetown, which we just left yesterday, is kind of known universally as Chicken Harbor, is because nobody goes past there. I don't mean nobody, but very few people compared to how many get to Georgetown. And it's because after that it gets really hard. We knew that, we'd never really done the math on why it gets hard, especially this time of year, and we're later than we probably should be to be talking about continuing south. But the trade winds start to kind of take over. And the trade winds in the Caribbean blow strong from the east. And while we're looking at the map, it doesn't look like it's the case. Caribbean islands, especially after the Bahamas, really start to lay themselves out a southeast direction. And so, especially from here, we have to basically get down to Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and then further south. In order to do that, we pretty much have to hop horizontally, and we have to go dead east directly into wind and
And they're
waves.
giant islands. I mean, the Dominican Republic is gigantic.
Compared to the little specks of sand that we've been sailing between, it's enormous. And so, today, our conversation was trying to figure out, do we dart small island to small island, which is where our comfort level is, or do we try and seize the opportunity of this weather pattern that we see coming? The problem is, if we want to take advantage of that, we have to actually skip several islands and do about a 2.5-day run straight down to Dominican Republic. And it's still not easy going after that because we still have to go due east, but at least it gets us down there and we can begin that phase of this journey.
We've been talking a lot about how we just really loved the Bahamas and the Exumas.
We'd stay forever if it wasn't for hurricane season.
Yeah, we could have stayed forever. But now, where you can actually make some progress to get east, are less frequent. So early on in the season, it's once a week. The weather flocks around, and you've got some north, some east, got a little bit of south and west. Apparently, where we are now, you get east, east, east.
We've already had several people tell us that we're too late.
There's a chance that weather will not support us getting down to Eastern Caribbean.
But we're obviously trying, because written out in stone from our insurance company, we have two options. Turn around and be north of North Carolina, or we have to be south to the very few islands that are out of the hurricane zone by June, July. And so obviously it sounds better to us to spend that time in the islands.
But we're also open. We're not going to push something.
We'll roll with anything.
We'll roll with anything.
If we can make it south, we're going to try and make it south. It's a pity to have to run as fast as we are. I mean, we could spend another couple of months in the Bahamas alone and be in Turks&Caicos and Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico.
Well, after snorkeling here today,
oh my God,
I
so
could
good.
stay here for quite a while.
But against our typical speed, we have to make ground. And so I think that's kind of what today was about, is if we're just going to sail along the side of these islands anyway and not really stop and enjoy them, does it make sense to not overnight at each island and just do one big haul?
So we're not really, I mean, we're enjoying sunset and sunrise, but we could do that from the boat.
And we didn't really see anything.
But then the other thing is, when we were looking at weather, we were realizing, like, there's this 3 to 5 days of really good weather that can help us make some progress south and east. If we stop and anchor, we are losing 10 to 12 hours of that weather window.
Right.
Yeah, so it's
Weather!
this is all so obvious once you experience it and live it, but
We need a doctorate in weather, and we actually are trying to figure out how to survive on a daily update of whatever we can happen to get.
and also learning, I'm seeing all these different clouds right now. We're looking at west.
And it's lovely.
And it's lovely. All it is, it's just eye candy right now, but how do you separate? This is just beautiful, big cloud formations to this is coming our way, and it's bringing with it a lot of wind and a lot of rain. Weather. So right now we have internet. We've got unlimited access to several different kinds of weather. And there's a couple sources and then all these interpretations. And we don't have cell, then we will be working off of our satellite. 2 sources. We will be looking at our route, our departure, and our arrival location, but then we'll also be scanning out to see, all right, what's happening, how's it moving, how's it changing, to see if things are building, because in reality, it's still nature. These forecasts are not precise.
They're guesses at best.
They can be spot on 8 days in a row, and then day 9, nobody saw that it was gonna do what it did.
Or
So-
anything close. When we first bought the boat, we had kind of read about this Gulf Stream crossing, and it was big, and it was, we had to leave in darkness, even though we were sailing during the daytime. And if we mistimed the weather window, it went from a peaceful day sail to horrible, even for the most, professional and salty of sailors.
Yeah.
And I feel like we prepped for that because we knew it was huge. And now if we're talking about a day sail that's a hop from one island to the next, easy. Find something that has winds in generally the right direction, waves that are under a certain height, and we go. And in the Bahamas, that was ridiculously simple, because if we didn't see those things align and we had to move, we'd just stay on the inside where we were always protected.
On
It didn't
the
matter.
big side, yeah.
Now we're talking about distances that we physically can't sail.
We can sail, but we can't sail and make our destination if we only want daylight hours.
Not even close.
We have to be open to the possibility, allowing for 36 hours.
Yeah,
to
several
get to the
day runs,
destination.
and maybe several day runs directly into the wind and waves, which is not leisure sail by any means. You know, yesterday was fine, but it was big. We kept repeating the new mantra because the waves were 5 feet
Find the
plus.
beauty in the big.
Find the beauty in the big. And so we're going straight into them. That's not the way we want to set ourselves up to get south to Dominican Republic,
How do you know
past
they were-
Puerto Rico.
How do you know they were 5?
The forecast
Oh yes, the forecast
said 5
but
plus.
They...
There were several that were far bigger than 5. Maybe double 5. And so now, you know, it's interesting that we're trying to do this thing that still seems like the island hopping that we were doing for the last 2 months, but the game just changed dramatically.
We're ready for it, but yesterday was
Eye-opening.
what made us ready. We had every intention of sailing northeast for 4 hours, and then we're going south.
Tack right back down.
East for 7 hours. We have 12 hours until dark, and everything's going to be perfect. We couldn't make our tacks. It was probably going to take us at least 11 more hours, and then getting into a bay that we'd never been to and anchoring
Which
in
we
the
don't wanna
dark,
do.
which we've never done.
Which is why we
So-
started doing the math. Do we have enough fuel to just motor all the way to the Dominican Republic? And we don't. So
And there's
then
nowhere
we
to
have
get
to
it.
take chances, at least do long runs where we leave as early as possible, but then we still don't know if we're going to get into an island before dark. And at some point, why? This is why people do multi-day runs. Now, at least you're out in open ocean. There's nothing to hit. You know, you already know what the elements are because you've looked ahead, and it's just easier. Not that we've done it yet, but it seems as though it's probably going to be easier and skip the stress of, are we going to make it before sunset? Are we anchoring in the right location? And just, you know, point offshore.
This week is the supermoon, so
Sailing by moonlight.
we will have the moon as our guide. The moon's pretty bright.
Any seasoned sailor that might stumble upon this video is just going to think we are as green as you can possibly be, that it took us this long.
It took us this long. What are you talking about? It is March 17th.
Right, I get it. To me, it feels like a slow
We
learning curve.
moved onto our boat and left harbor in December.
Fair. Still a lot of time in the water. I feel like this would have sunk in somewhere before now.
I don't know why you're putting so much pressure
The Bahamas,
on
I'm not
yourself.
putting
I'm not
pressure.
putting any
I'm just in
pressure on
awe
me.
that it took this long. The Bahamas makes this easy. That's all there is to it. It's clear to me why people go as far as Georgetown and then sit there for 6 months and turn around and go home.
I mean, we want to explore more, but do
Does everybody
other
want that?
people
Probably.
don't need anything more than beautiful beaches, like gorgeous anchorages, and I get it, but I
understand
also
why they're there.
excited
I
to
didn't
explore.
fully understand what the alternative was. And so now it's
Yeah.
sinking in to me what the alternative is and exactly how big it is and how daunting it is.
We got this, babe.
We got this. Yeah, we got this. What didn't we
Cheers.
talk about?
I think we're done. The weather right now is quite lovely. Some pink, gray, and blue, and these gorgeous palm trees where you got us a couple coconuts today. Much like my new mantra is find the beauty in the big. When we're out at sea and the waves are really big and the wind is really big and I'm feeling a little tiny. There is something beautiful about the calm. And I know it doesn't meet our goals of movement and progress. Right now, we're ready to sail. We're ready to sail.
Do you see these colors dancing on the? I mean, it's
Oh, exactly.
fantastic.
When the elements say go sail, we move. And when the elements say snorkel and relax, then we do that.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
Cheers. Love to tell you what the next episode's going to be about, but we have no idea. Certainly, if you have suggestions, let us know. If you even found this video. If not, it'll be fun to look back at this a couple years from now.
Oh man, when we're 70, we're gonna be like, who are those people?
I said a couple years.
That's when I'm gonna go back and look at all of our photos.
70 is not a couple years.
Why wouldn't you wait until we're old and we can't move? We're gonna be fine at
We're
70.
gonna-
You're gonna have to edit that part out of the video.
Let's hope we have more than a couple of years. I gotta move the camera. This is crazy.
Gorgeous.